Well, hello again, folks. We're going to continue on with our learning about transposition, and the next project we're going to look at is writing out an instrument at its sounding pitch. Now, sounding pitch for concert pitch instruments is not something that we need to change because they're in concert pitch. But for instruments that transpose, so instruments like trumpet in B flat, clarinet in B flat, or alto saxophone in E flat, they sound different to what it is that they're playing on a score. So if we want to work out their sounding pitch, or what the instrument sounds like when it plays a melody, we have to think about how they are actually compensating. Now, if you remember from our last video, compensating is what an instrument does when it's in a different key. It has to compensate so that it plays in the same key as the concert pitched instruments. So today we're going to look at the sounding pitch of a clarinet in B flat. So if you remember, an instrument in B flat has to compensate by one tone. So whenever it plays something, it's playing a tone higher than the instruments in concert pitch. So to explain it a little bit more simply, when this clarinet plays the first note there, which is a C, it actually sounds a note lower. So the clarinet playing a C will sound like B flat, the key that it's in. So if we're to write out this little melody at sounding pitch, the first thing we have to do is to change the key of the instrument that is in sounding pitch. So we're going to write the clarinet's melody in sounding pitch on the piano because the piano is in concert pitch. So we've changed the key. So we've changed the key to compensate for the fact that the clarinet sounds one tone lower. So if it plays a C, one tone lower, then C is B flat. So we move from the key of C that we've got here, that piece that's written there is in the key of C, and we're writing this piece in the key of B flat. And again, very simply, we just take everything down one note because that's what the clarinet will actually sound like. So if we go here, we'll start with crotchets here. The first note is a C on the clarinet. That sounds like a B flat. Next note's a C, just there. That sounds like a B flat. Next note is a D. That sounds one tone lower than a D when the clarinet plays it, which is a C. Next note is an E. That really sounds one tone lower, which is a D. We'll move on to the next bar. An F. Now let's think for a second here, because an F, a full tone away from F is not an E. That's only a semitone on a piano. So it needs to be an E flat, and that's why we've got that key signature there with B flat and E flat. So we'll go E flat, again to the E, one tone lower, D, and the last note, a C. So you'll see here that these two instruments are now playing in unison. The clarinet plays a C, but it sounds like a B flat. So that's the measure. Whatever it sounds like in a concert pitch instrument, that's what it actually sounds like in reality. A C on a clarinet in B flat, a C on a clarinet in B flat will sound like a B flat on a piano. An F on a clarinet in B flat will sound one tone lower, which is an E flat on the piano. And again, if we listen to this, we'll hear that it sounds in unison. Very simple. All right, more in another instrument in just a moment.